All right, guys, welcome to the show today. I'm excited. We have our first active collegiate athlete today. So I've had a old college guy that played some Major League Baseball. I had a college baseball player that played last year, but now is a grad assistant. And now I want to welcome in a University of Louisville volleyball player. She's a middle blocker. She's from the Fort Wayne area. She went to Blackhawk Christian School. For all you small kids, it's a small school kids. That's a very small school, and if you have dreams of playing big time college athletics, it can still happen because we got proof right here. So I want to talk about your club days, your high school days, your college sports days here now at Louisville. You had many honors in the club world and the high school world. Had an awesome college career so far. And I'm super excited for you and your upcoming senior season. Me and my wife and our friends have the old Yum Center package. So hopefully new Coach Meskey can add maybe a few more. I know we did from 2 years ago to last year. I think we added a few more games. So at this time, I want to welcome Cara Cresse to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Appreciate you. I'm going to I like to start in the early days. This is a youth sports podcast, so to speak, but obviously we have college and pro athletes on as well, but everybody started when they were young. So I want to start with your early days. Did you play volleyball only, or did you play any other sports?
I only played volleyball. My older sisters played volleyball. I wanted to follow in their footsteps, and I did some I was in like theater and music stuff, but volleyball was like strictly my sport. So
Nice. And I know you were very and still are a very smart student. So we'll get into some of that later. But especially for some of the kids listening to the show today, I think it's very important that the student athlete is two words. You're not just an athlete at the University of Louisville. So
for sure.
so one sport. What about club volleyball? I'm sure that played into your game.
Yeah, that became a huge part of my life. I was homeschooled younger. I didn't start going to Blackhawk Christian until I was a junior in high school, but so I played homeschool volleyball, started in like fifth grade. Didn't start club volleyball until I think I was 15, my 15's year. And like after that, it was like that was like volleyball was literally my entire life once I started club volleyball. Like you have the school season. For me, it was the homeschool season. And then in the off season, you're still playing volleyball, honestly, at a harder level, traveling a lot more. So it became a huge part of my life and turned into something that I really wanted to pursue.
Nice. And I guess on positions, you are a taller volleyball player. Did you always play, the blocker position, or did you get to do other positions?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, I was a middle blocker. I feel like you can't really, you see someone as tall as me and you don't want to even risk not having someone as tall as me as a middle blocker, I guess.
Right, right.
There was a time when I started being recruited by one of the schools I was talking to as an outside, and I had never played outside before, but I guess they saw like potential in my passing, whatever. But I was like, no, I want to stick with middle, which is crazy. I don't think any other middle blocker would ever say that, but
Right,
I
right.
stuck with it and it worked out for me. So
That's awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Coaches that you started at 15, you for the club, but back to any of the high school days or the club volleyball, coaches that may have impacted you in your game or your life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say every coach I had really played a part into the reason why I'm here today. I never had a bad experience with a coach, which I'm really, really blessed and thankful to be able to say that because I know there's a lot of coaches that can ruin the game for people, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I, my club coach actually kind of saw some potential in me when I was still playing on the homeschool team. And he was like, okay, she's really tall. Like she moves well. She knows what she's doing. And he kind of asked me, he was like, would you want to come like play for the club? Like just come to tryouts, see how you like it. And so I was like freaking out. I was like, what? Like that kind of felt like the first time I'd ever been recruited into something. So
Right.
I went to tryouts, and ever since then, like him and his wife, he owned the club, and he not only made me such a better volleyball player and just kind of helped me grow the knowledge of the game, but he really did like shape me into the person I am today, and really instilled confidence in me and just I guess just pushed me every day to go out of my comfort zone and just have confidence in myself so that I can have more confidence as a player. So he has made a huge impact on my life, and as a player and a person, he's still very involved in my family, and um, just has really helped me along the way, and saw potential in me. I think for the first time, someone had that could really get me to the next level, if that makes sense.
That's that's great. Most of us have one, and like you said, that's pretty. It's kind of unbelievable that you hadn't had a bad experience, which is great. But you did kind of start a
Right.
little bit later with the club, and that's my next question: is any advice for the younger club volleyball player out there wanting to play maybe at the high school level or even obviously at the college level that you're at? But as you know, it's starting so early now, and you kind of
Hmm.
I feel like you were fortunate to start later, and when you're
Yeah.
15, that's when most likely these kids want to play at the next level. So, any advice for any of the younger ones or in the high school kids?
Yeah, I would just say um, keep keep getting in the gym as much as you can, not even just like for practices. I don't know, everyone practices different hours of the week, but trying to get in even like on the off days or days that honestly just feel really hard to push through. Like you have to just push through, and I promise it'll pay off. Like in the moment, it feels hard and you're tired, you're sore, but it's like you have to push through because there's always going to be days like that. But not backing down and just continuing to push yourself, get as many extra reps in as possible, and also, I always say this because it's something that I honestly still struggle with to this day is just like having patience with yourself and grace because, again, there are going to be hard days. You're not going to be playing at your 100% best every day. But if you're still giving that 100% that you have, I promise it'll pay off and like you'll get better. But give yourself grace. Just know that no one's perfect. Even at the D1 level, I make mistakes every single day. So, grace is a big word
Awesome.
I use.
Awesome. And on your Instagram handle, I think it's you have a faith based, you have scripture on there. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I know my first guy that I interviewed, Chris Burke, that played Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
He really it helps people when you're out coming and out, coming out as a Christian. I think that's awesome.
Hmm.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah.
The high school sports. So did you play all 4 years at Blackhawk?
Just 2 years.
2 years.
So yeah, my junior year of high school is my first year there, and then yes, junior and senior year. So it was definitely a different vibe, but I wanted to be on a bit more competitive league, and I also wanted more structure, like from the school standpoint. But so I switched from homeschool to still a very small school, so it was probably the
Okay.
closest thing to homeschool I could have gotten. But yeah, 2 years there, and it was really good.
That's awesome. And obviously
Yeah.
the 15U club that goes on to all the way up to 16, 17s, 18s. How do you play? You play 3 summers or so, 3 club seasons?
Yeah, 18s. So I played, what was that, four seasons there, I think. So yeah, and it wasn't even just like club volleyball goes from like December to I think like June.
Yeah, long.
So it's like really long
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
Plus your high school or middle school season in the fall, I'm guessing up to the fall,
right.
you know.
Yeah, no days off at
Yeah.
all.
That leads up to how you got recruited, who you got recruited by. Obviously, you're at Louisville, and we love that. But were there any other schools, or how did that process go?
Yeah, there were a few other schools that I was really leaning towards. So obviously I started travel volleyball a little bit later. And it was still more of like a fun thing. It was a hobby. It was something I got to do outside of school. But then I remember like a specific tournament. It was like one of the biggest recruiting tournaments. I think it actually might have been here in Louisville. And there were like club coaches at one of my games. There were just like club coaches like all around the court. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm like, what is happening? And one of my teammates was like, Carol, like, I think they're here to watch you. And I was like, what? Like, what's going on? And so I like that specific tournament, I think made me realize like, oh my gosh, I actually might be good enough to like play at the next level. Like this, it just became more of like a passion and something, like I said earlier, that I wanted to actually pursue at the highest level I could.
Right.
And so once I started seeing some coaches there, I began talking to them. The rules were kind of different then, so couldn't talk a ton to them. But just throughout the years, I got in contact with more people, gained a relationship with coaches, and um, I don't know, it came down to Louisville. There were a few people in the end, and actually, I another funny story. Um, there were like two schools I was down to. Louisville was one of them, and I was pretty sure I was going to go to the other school. I was actually University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and
Oh,
I went on my visit to Tennessee, and I was like, oh, Mom, I love it here. Like, it's so good. Like, everything seems perfect. The time came around a few weeks later that my Louisville visit was set. I was like, Mom, I don't even want to go. Like, I'm going to go to Tennessee. Like, I don't even want
it's
to go
over.
on
It's
my,
over, right? Yeah, you're
it's
going to
done.
Tennessee.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
my decision's made, which was very dumb of me to say because I
yeah,
didn't even
yeah,
take my visit to Louisville yet. But took my visit to Louisville. Again, I was very hesitant to go. I was kind of nervous just because I was like, oh, like, what's going on? And then by the last day, like I loved it. Like it was one of those things that just felt right. Like I don't even know how to tell people like exactly why I decided Louisville, but it was really like it was really just like full trust in the Lord too. Like it was something I prayed about for a while. I had it was a tough process, but I literally like it was just felt right. And I sat down one day and my parents had me write down the pros and cons of each school. And after I did that, I looked back at the list, and the pros for Tennessee just felt very like materialistic. And it was like,
right,
okay, the facilities are great, like the area is nice, whatever. And then for Louisville, it was like, okay, the culture's great, very welcoming community, had a great relationship with the coaches right away. Like the girls were super sweet. And I was like, okay, so this might be a better decision. Just, I don't know. Again, it just felt right.
yeah.
And it worked out. So,
That's great. That's awesome.
yeah.
So we'll jump right to that. You're at Louisville now. You were most likely one of the best players on your club team. You're probably the best player on your high school team, and you get redshirted your freshman year. I
Hmm.
want you to talk to the young girls that still have those aspirations to play college athletics. A little bit about that. How was that growth that
Yeah.
year? You know, how did it make you a better person, a player, a student? You know, all that rolled into
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I I talk about this so much with my teammates now. It's like you go from truly being like the best volleyball player in your area, city, club, high school team, whatever it is, like you're the star, and you get to this big program and it's like, okay, all of these girls were stars now. Like they were all stars in their area, like you're all coming together and you're kind of back to square one feeling like you're like battling for a spot on the team or just your position, whatever it is. And you just kind of have to work back up to that. And as much as I was like hesitant to redshirt at first, I truly think it was the best decision I could have made in my career. And there were players, Anna Stevenson,
Yeah.
she was one of the middle blockers. Amaya Tillman was the other middle blocker. Two All Americans and girls that are still talked about in our gym today. So of course I'm not going to play right away going in. And so the coaches talked to me with all the fifth year stuff. And they're like, so Anna Stevenson is staying another year. Like we'd love to have you for a full 4 years, but like you'd have to redshirt. Like what are your thoughts? I was like, okay, I'll get back to you. So I talked to my parents and prayed about it. And I came back and I was like, I want to do this. And it was the best decision I could have made. I think it's hard going straight from high school to college and just expecting to be the best. Like
Right.
you're expecting that. You're expecting to be great because you were great. And so going in, I there was definitely like a lot of like imposter syndrome and just feeling like, okay, I'm not good enough to be here. But redshirting took a lot of the pressure off and it kind of helped me actually like ease into the college life
Right.
and being on one of the best teams in the country. And I learned so much that year too, like just kind of sitting back and observing too. I didn't get to travel really with the team, which was tough at times, but there were some other girls who didn't either, and so that helped. And yeah, I don't know. I the thing I can say about that is it was a great decision that I made, and I learned so much just from looking at the other girls, watching them play, but also just like literally focusing on my growth that specific year rather than like focusing on how I'm going to perform on the court because I didn't have to yet, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
You're back for 2025, so we're excited for
Yeah,
that for sure. So,
yeah, I'm
but
not
it
ready to
is.
leave.
I mean, you're having 5 years to play for. That's kind of what college athletics was meant to be. You go to
Yeah.
that good a team. I think pretty
Mhm.
much we were national runner ups right that year.
That
Was
was
it
our
with
first year at the Final Four.
Final Four? Yeah.
Yeah.
And but back to the players you just said, like it's just like when Tucker went over to Louisville for baseball. It's like, wow, there's like
Yeah.
every position has two or three guys that can take that
Hmm.
spot. And there's older people. You're freshmen, incoming true
Yeah.
freshmen. Those juniors or seniors are 2 and 3 years older than you. So some of these
Hmm.
kids need to hear that and accept that, that
Hmm.
it could take a minute. So in your
For
second
sure.
year though, you got to play a
A lot.
lot
Yeah.
or a little bit. How did that second year, your redshirt freshman year, go?
Yeah. Um, so that was like that was probably the hardest year mentally for me because I redshirted with my teammate the year before. Um, and so we both kind of went in like really battling for this spot. Anna Stevenson had graduated, so we knew it was going to be like between one of us. And I'm pretty sure I started out that year starting, and I was like, oh my gosh, like life is great.
Right,
Like
right,
I'm doing so good. Like they picked me, whatever.
right,
And then halfway through the season, it basically flipped. And like I kind of understood why one of our girls had gotten injured that year, like our one of our best outsides. And so they needed more offensive weapons, and I was more of a defensive weapon. So we switched, and like after that, it was like, and every day still feels like you're battling for the spot, but it was just like
right,
so much more. It's like, okay, I felt like I literally just lost my starting spot. And so
right,
that was really hard. And it's hard to find that balance, like, because you, especially like we're all very close on my team, and even though you're battling for the spot, like you still want what's best for your teammate. And I think that's
right,
why our team is so special too. Like it's not like a spiteful thing. Like I never felt like, oh, like she's starting, like she doesn't deserve it. No, she definitely deserved it. Like
right,
she's an amazing player, and like I loved that every day we could come in and push each other, just by like working our hardest and
yep,
being the best we could be. And um, because of that, we both got stronger. It was a tough season for both of us, but we genuinely were there for each other a lot, and I don't think I would have rather been in that position with anyone else. So it was tough, but
yep.
I mean, it got me where I am today, so can't complain.
So the redshirt year, the freshman year, so to speak, that year, and then you go into your
Mhm.
sophomore year, and you have a great season. You're all region, second team, all ACC, and most importantly, back to some of the kids listening, academic all ACC team you were on.
Mhm.
So a little bit about that year and how that went.
Yeah, that year was I kind of surprised myself a little bit that year. Like the year prior, it was just a lot mentally, just really hard to like push through all the difficulties and ups and downs. But that year we took our foreign trip to Brazil. And so I was like the starting M1 um, middle blocker there. And I was like, okay, like what's going on? Like I didn't expect it.
Right,
And I was like, they're just kind of giving everyone a chance here, whatever. And then um, as the year went on, we have roles meetings, so we'll have a meeting with the entire team, and our coach will go through like each person's role for the year, and just so everyone's kind of on the same page. Um, and they like told me, Carrie, like you'll be the starting in one, like it could switch. And so that year, like I started in one, and I still like in the back of my mind, I knew like you can't just let up now that you have the position. Like you still have to work your hardest every day. And so me and the two other middles truly did push each other every day and just helped each other get better. But yeah, that year started. Um, it was just a completely different. There's still obviously, no matter how good you're playing, there's still going to be tough mental days, but um, I was able to push through them. I had my teammates; they had my back, and it like I don't even know like what to say about that year because I didn't expect any of like the accolades I
right.
got. I literally was just out there playing and enjoying my time playing. Like it was so fun. It was like, okay, Carrie, you have the spot. Now you just have to work to keep it and continue having fun and have a good perspective on it. Um, so yeah, it ended up being a great year, and I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to ask this later about your this past season, your junior year, but the mental
Mhm.
game. I just since you've talked about it and a little bit now, like it's so important to have
Hmm.
strong mind, heart, a little bit of everything. What do you
Yeah.
think brings that mental game for you? Obviously, you've had some tough years there. Not tough years, just had
Hmm.
a red shirt, obviously, and then not play
Yeah.
as much as you wanted to. But what's your what's your thoughts on that for the young girls out there listening to the mental game?
Yeah. It, to be honest, it really never gets easier. I think each year I've had a different, I don't want to say issue because it's not an issue, but a different thing each season that has like affected me or kind of challenged me, I guess. So I would just say, like, I'm going to go back to the grace thing because that truly is a word that I've used for years. Just giving myself grace through it all. And um, I look back a lot to it, like how far I've come. So, like, everything I literally just talked about before, like, starting from basically nothing on a little homeschool team and like reminding myself, like, Carrie, you worked for this. Like, you earned this spot. You're not just here because you're here. Like, you had to go through a lot. You had to work through a lot. You were challenged. You had whatever obstacles, and just remind myself that I really did have to work for this, and I'm going to continue to have to work for it. But I think too, just having really good a good support system in my teammates and my coaches has helped me so much. I've felt so blessed just to have people who push me every day, but also have my back and are people I can depend on for just assistance through it all too.
Yep. And one thing with your size, people I love, they say, "Oh, you should be good at basketball because you're tall." And the same
All the
thing with
time.
like volleyball. Like, no, they're so athletic. Like, I don't know. I think I told you this goofy story at one of the baseball games that we called you the baby giraffe because the
Yeah.
way you played that first year, and then all of a sudden, and we didn't start that till sophomore year because you were already like so much like, I don't know what it was, just more athletic maybe, but maybe some of the college
Mhm.
stuff that helped you get there. Like, you just were so much more of a better player at that point, and everything was clicking a little bit more. And then obviously this last year, just like big time, clicking. So I want to
Thanks.
jump
Yeah.
into this season, past season. What a great regular season you guys had, and what a fun season you guys had. And again, I'm going to go back to that mental aspect because I hope the heck you enjoyed it because
Hmm.
all the fans did. But I know how much pressure's on these some of you college athletes put on yourselves, or people put on you, coaches put on you, but you guys handle it like champs. And I want to go through that quick season. Obviously, you had a great regular season, but you get through Chicago State, and
Hmm.
then I got to hear about the Northern Iowa match because we were at the house watching it. We didn't get to go, and
Oh my
my wife was
gosh.
jumping up and down like crazy. And I know you guys were. Was it relief? Was it what at the end of that game when Anna hit one? I think they put it up in the air and she just pounded it
Hmm.
down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I think it was Danny after the game was like, I hate to say, like, she said, I hate to come out of games and like tell you guys I'm relieved, but I genuinely am relieved after that game. And we were all like, no, yeah, we understand. Like, I think we all are. And yeah, that was a crazy game. I think we all saw the end of the season like in like the back of our minds. We were all kind of nervous, and it you and I was an incredible team. Like,
Yeah,
they
great.
worked so hard. They deserved to be there, and they pushed us really, I mean, to our limit. And so um there was a lot of nerves, and I also think it was a little bit of a wake up call. Like,
Oh
once
yeah.
you're in postseason, like, everyone's out. Like, they're out to get you. Like,
Yep.
I mean, no one has anything to lose. Like, you're going in, you're just gonna battle your butt off, and like, what happens happens. So I think after that, it really kind of like flipped a switch. But it there was a lot of trust in each other that had to happen in that game, and I mean, I think we did that. We leaned on each other, and even, I mean, I feel like that was a good testament of, even through the tough times, like, continue to work your hardest, and good things are going to
Yep.
happen.
And I was going to bring it up later, but basically, you guys knew going into preseason camp that the University of Louisville, was going to host the national championship Final Four.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
had to be exciting, but also, like we just discussed, a mental part of the game, a spiritual whatever. You just like, we're gonna do it, and you did it. Like that was insane.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain them. You can talk about that now, or we can talk about it later. But it was unbelievable to have
Yeah.
that happen for you all.
It really was. I think there definitely was an added pressure, and we started talking about it like once preseason hit. Like that was like the first conversation we had, like during 2-a-day practices and stuff. It was like, how are we going to handle this pressure? Are we going to see it as pressure? Like what? And so as much as we like didn't want to talk about it too much, it came up. Like it was still in our minds. Like, okay, how can we not take this pressure and like have it affect us too much?
Right.
And so like the whole season, it was like trying to just take each game one at a time. Like obviously we want to end up in the Final Four in Louisville, but we're gonna have to work for it, and each game matters. And so yeah, there definitely was an added pressure there. I think the group of girls that had to handle it, I think we handled it very, very
Yeah.
well. And the coaches were very good at um, just helping us handle it as well. And it, I think a lot of people did doubt that we would make it. I think there was a lot of that, but we just didn't like, we didn't even like listen to that. We were like,
Right.
we're just gonna do what we do best. And
Yep.
I mean, I don't know, we gave it our all and we ended up there. So it was really, really surreal.
Some of you handled it with some pregame TikToks. I mean, that was the funnest part.
Yep.
Like watching the Final Four, like they're making TikToks at the scores table
Yeah.
before the game. So
Oh my
just
gosh,
keep it
I know.
loose, keep it loose, keep it
Yep,
loose. But you
for
get through
sure. It's part of
Purdue,
the.
you get through
Yeah.
Stanford, so you're back in the Final Four. Or
Hmm.
again, we're going back to Yum Center because you had to play at Freedom Hall, and
Hmm.
just to walk in that arena to warm up against our rival ACC
Hmm.
Pittsburgh. Like, how was that? Just the crowd and all that. We'll just give us a little bit of that, plus the win.
Yeah, that was amazing. That game was so, so fun. I mean, we felt the support of Louisville through the whole season and just Card Nation, but having the Final Four in your hometown is just it's a different feeling. Like being in that huge arena, breaking records of attendance, like and knowing that the majority of those people there are cheering us on, like it was so, so cool and so surreal. And I mean, to be doing that against one of the best teams in
Right.
the nation, one of the best teams in the ACC, like our rivals, like it was really, really fun. And it was it was a little nerve-wracking going in there. We had just lost to them 2 times prior this
Right.
season, and so there was pressure there, but again, we had nothing to lose and we just went all out. And yeah, a lot of trust in each other for sure.
Not to mention one of the best players on the other side. I mean, just
Yep,
amazing talent. So
for
um,
sure.
you come up short, but it was unbelievable season, and nobody can take anything away from you guys. You guys did it. You made it all the way there, and like I said, I know the fans are proud of you guys. I know your coaches were proud of you. Again, the pressure had to be insane. Playing in front of your crowd and trying to get that done, and that set. Well, I don't even know what it was. 35 or something points was
Oh my
scored.
gosh.
That
The
was
longest set in
uh,
history.
and the crowd was just so excited to get that one, to get that victory there in that set at least.
Yeah.
But that was an awesome night. I was there live, so my wife was there with me and our
Oh,
friends. So that was a cool moment. Seeing a lot of young girls that look up to you guys there as
mhm.
well from our community over in Southern Indiana. So I know they know you're
Yeah.
from Indiana, so that was had to be a cool moment. So
Yeah. It
uh,
was really special.
senior year, you got a new
Hmm.
coach. Coach
Yep.
Busboom Kelly is at Nebraska now. I
Hmm.
wanted to just quickly on her style and her demeanor and what she meant to you before we
Hmm.
talk about Coach Mesky.
Yeah. She's awesome. I mean, being able to play under a female coach, first of all, was just so amazing. And I never like being recruited, I never was like, oh, I want to make sure like I'm playing under a female coach, but it really like it I mean, it was just awesome. She's personable, like she's been there, she understands what we're going through. Like she was such a great support system, and she just, I mean, she has a very calm demeanor. I feel like
Oh
anyone
yeah,
can see that like watching her coach, and it's just so so cool. And she I mean, she's she was successful herself, and
Right.
we knew to trust her to make us successful too. I mean, I've been here for 4 years, and we've already broken records at Louisville. So um, just really special, and she is such a great coach. I know she's going to kill it in Nebraska. We miss her, but this is her dream, and so we're really excited for her to
Yep.
pursue that. And I'm just glad I got 4 years with her. She's so inspiring, and I mean, she also just shows like having a kid and like having your own life outside of your job, like you can do great things. So
Yep. Yep. That's
yeah,
my dog barking in the background. Just ignore him.
that's
Uh,
okay.
Tucker, he said she smiled too much, but I think Tucker had me as a coach who was a hard butt. He had high school coaches which were hard butts, and like
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of smiling, but I liked her little presence about that. And obviously
yeah.
Coach Meskey was the associate head coach, kind of out and about on the court, but
Mhm.
I liked her demeanor. I'm sure it kept you guys calm in the timeouts and big situations too.
For sure. Yeah, there were some times where we'd go in for timeouts, and I would just like I'd be like, okay, we need to be yelled at, but then like she wouldn't yell. She was still calm, and I think like that's what we needed too, especially in those big moments. Like we don't need to be yelled at right now. We just need that calm presence and to know that she believes in us and she trusts us. And she would be like, "Hey guys, I believe in you. Like I need you to believe in yourselves too."
Right.
Like
Yep.
stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah, like for sure. Like that's motivating for us,
Yep.
and I think she did a great job of that.
And now you get a coach who you've had forever, but now he's obviously your
Mhm.
head coach. Is his demeanor, is his, I guess, coaching style? What do you think coming up for the new season?
Yeah, we're so excited. I mean, he has been the middles coach ever since I've been here, and I mean, years before me. So I have a really good relationship with him, and we all feel comfortable with him. We all trust him to take over this role. I mean, being associate head coach too, like the previous years, he does a lot of the scouting. He helps a lot with that, and um, his knowledge for the game is unlike any person I know. So his volleyball IQ, I know, will take us far, and um, he also is a very calm presence too. And
Yes. Yep.
um, so yeah, we're really excited for him. And again, we trust him. We know he's gonna fill the role well. And it's just nice to have staff take over that we already know. We know how he kind of rolls and how he coaches.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's really thankful for that.
Very smooth transition for sure. So,
Yes, and the athletic department really helped that too. Like the
yeah, great.
transition was seamless.
That
So
was great.
yeah.
I got to ask you, with women's volleyball now has a pro volleyball federation.
Hmm.
Um, are you interested in that if given a chance? And then I want to talk about your degree and what you want to pursue after college or after volleyball's over for you.
Yeah, I definitely want to play pro. It's crazy to even say that because I genuinely didn't even know I wanted to play college volleyball when I was younger. So it's really cool. I feel like I'm pursuing kind of a newer dream of mine. Um, but like for so long, women or just volleyball in general really have had to go overseas to pursue a pro career. And so for so long, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go overseas. Like that just feels scary, like moving by myself, going to a team that likely no one speaks English.
Right.
So now with these new leagues in the US, it's been such a blessing and like just really cool for women's volleyball and women's sports in general. And so I definitely want to probably stay in the States, at least my first couple years. We'll see. Maybe I'll want to branch out and go to a different country to play. But want to stay in the States. Not sure what league yet or how it's all going to look. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's kind of crazy to think that I'll have to
Yeah.
start thinking about that soon. But
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know how long it's been in existence, but I'm not very long for the
no.
U.S. Federation there, the Pro Volleyball Federation. But it's
Mhm.
a very cool opportunity. Obviously, you're watching your former players that were on your
Mhm.
team and teammates do it right now. So that's a neat
Yeah,
thing to be able to ask them things about it, and yeah, it's lean on them as much as you can, as you know.
for sure. Yeah,
How
definitely.
about the degree? What's your plan with school?
Yeah, so I will be graduating in May with a bachelor's degree in communication. So I I'm hoping to maybe start my master's program in the fall. We'll see how all that works out, but not sure exactly how which route I'll go for that. But um, not positive either what I want to do with my communications degree. I have always considered coaching, and so I'll definitely like keep that in the back of my mind. My dad has always been like, you should use your communications degree to do like sports broadcasting or like
Yeah.
work for ESPN. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do something like that and do announcing. I don't really know. Um, I hate saying that I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I know the communications degree is very versatile. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And professional volleyball until you can't do it anymore, right? Then
Exactly,
you can figure it
right.
out. You got plenty of time. So
Yeah,
good
maybe
luck
I'll
with
become like
that.
a music teacher or
There
something.
you go. Uh, last thing I got for you, I got to go back to the younger athletes and um, for sure on the female side, the girls that just look up to you, um, playing a high level college sport, high level athletics in college. Like, give them some little rundown of what it's like, what they can do, just kind of the stuff we've been discussing. But I think you talk well. You're a great speaker. I think you can help them out and give them a few things here at the end.
Yeah. Um, I would say, I mean, I have so many teammates who are testaments to kind of just like proving people wrong, like shorter players who are told that they won't go far, whatever it is. Even tall girls saying they're like, I got told I couldn't jump or I wasn't coordinated enough, whatever it is, like you can do what you put your mind to. Like if you're putting in the work and you're dedicating the time, I promise you, you can go as far as you want. And um, continue to just give yourself grace through it all. I'll say that again. And know that there's going to be off days, there's going to be really, really good days, but you just kind of have to maintain that patience through it and know that you're still going to get better. You're still going to grow through the good days and the bad days. So just continue to give yourself grace and find a good group of people to surround yourself with. I hope that every athlete has teammates that they can depend on because mine truly are my best friends and my sisters. So when you have that support system, I promise you, your experience is going to be great. So yeah.
Awesome. And college, there's nothing like college athletics. Any level, these kids can get the chance to do it. It's the same at every level. It's just a little bit higher, play at certain levels where you're at, and where some of these kids are at the baseball levels, at the higher levels. The conferences are so strong, just like you're in at the ACC.
Yeah.
It's a battle every day. But I want to thank you for coming on, and I think you're going to give some great insight to some parents out there and some youth. Athletes that listen to you. And good luck this coming season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on here.
All right. See ya.
Bye.